Hello and welcome to an InkDependence.com brief video review and water drop test. Today we have Blackstone's Barrier Reef Blue. It comes in a little sample vial like this if you get one there. This is from Anderson Pens. Thanks very much to Brian and Lisa for sending this out for review. I actually have all the Blackstone inks to do, so you'll be seeing some more of these. Blackstone is a brand from Australia that I hear used to send out, or used to sell their inks rather, sort of as dusty pigment type things. And now they send them out as full bottles of ink. Like if you got the dust, you would just add some water until you had the right volume for ink and that sort of thing. But now full bottles. But you can only get these bottles, as far as I know, in the U.S. at Anderson Pens. Elsewhere, I can't tell you where to get them. But if you like this, check it out online. So there's that. Barrier Reef Blue is a really bright blue. Let's see if I can move this a little bit. There we go. As you can see here, it's a pretty bright blue. It's kind of almost a turquoise, which does remind me of oceany sorts of water. So I guess they've done their job there. Not to sound repetitive, but it does remind me of like video of the Barrier Reef and the ocean around it, that kind of stuff. So that's cool, and I really like it. I'm not sure if it's coming out super well on the camera. I won't know until later, but it's definitely a bright blue, kind of turquoisey is the way to think about that. So the paper I have this on, of course, is Rhodia as usual. I am getting some Tomoe River soon-ish, so that'll be cool. I'll be able to try some inks out on that. This particular ink is a little bit on the, I don't know, like it's slightly dry, maybe, but like dry is not exactly the right word. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit thick, maybe, is the way to think of it. I mean, you see the way that it coats the sides of the vial. I don't think it doesn't feel thick in the same way that like Private Reserve feels thick, where it's just got too much stuff in it. I think, or it's oversaturated, but it just feels like it gives me a couple of hard starts every once in a while, and after that it flows beautifully. So I don't really know what to tell you about it. Also, it does sound a little bit like rough, I guess, on the nib, just a skosh. So there you go. But take that as you will. Or it could just be the nib, actually. I just got this nib on this pen. I haven't really used it much. But anyway, it sounds a little bit scratchy, but it feels just fine when you write with it. Whatever. And I'm actually willing to overlook all that stuff because, man, I really like the way this ink looks. I think it looks awesome. I tried it out in this this Architect nib that I got from my friend Tom Bailey on the Karas Custom Ink. I put it on my Fountain K just for fun. Let's just zoom in just a little bit on this stuff. Oh, can I zoom in anymore? No, I guess I'm maximum zoomed. I put it on the Fountain K just to give it a little bit of variation, that sort of thing. Man, I am terrible at writing with an Architect nib. I don't know what it is. I've had a couple of them, and I just am bad at it. You can see it looks bad. And you can see down here, it looks worse. So I got to figure out what the heck I'm doing wrong. Maybe I need to watch somebody write with one, or if you know the trick to writing with an Architect nib, tell me. I think maybe I hold the pen wrong. I don't know. But the color looks great, and you can really sort of see the character, that sort of turquoisey, oceany character to it. When you look at the regular medium nib, it's much darker because it's all in one spot. So I wanted to show it off with this nib before I moved on. As far as color comparisons and such, I've got it here next to Cross Blue Black, which you've seen recently on the blog. It's a very nice blue black. Also Salix, which goes down a little bit, different color, as you've seen also on the blog. Kind of turns this grayish blue. One of my favorite inks is Iron Gall. I really like it. Even though it's a little bit pale, I still like it a lot. This is a new ink from Tecker. Tecker is a company that will make you a custom ink out of whatever hex code you tell them to. So you can get a bottle of ink. I'll have those on the blog soon, but this is SMU Blue. I went to SMU as an undergrad, Southern Methodist University in Dallas, and it's pretty close, I guess, to their blue. As it dries, it looks more blue. As it goes down, it's very dark. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. I really like the performance. And then Tolstoy, which is, I mean, if you look at them, they're in the same family for sure, but this one is definitely more turquoisey than Tolstoy is. I have a hard time telling you what color Tolstoy is, except that it's blue, but that's not a very good definition. All right, let's look at it and see what it does with a water drop test. So here we go. Sploosh. All right, there, cool. All right. And you can see not much water resistance here, and I wasn't really expecting any, but you never know. Sometimes you're surprised. This time, not surprised. Well, I am surprised by how poorly that looks. Actually, man, looks like there might not really be anything left, so let's go ahead and mop that up. There we go. I'm always careful to mop it up on rodeo because Rhodia does repel water a bit, so if you push down too fast, it will blast water and ink everywhere. And here, I've got a cat hair there. Thank you very much, Katy Perry. Yeah, lots of it, including like some grid lines, like basic grid lines there. And then here, yeah, nothing much left. So, especially up here on the words, I mean, man. So this Blackstone ink, not at all water resistance. Some of the worst water resistance actually I've seen in a while. So if you want it to be water fast, you don't want, excuse me, this ink. You'll want something different. So let's look at the chromatography right quick. Here it is. Yeah, and as you saw in the video at the left-hand side, this ink flees up the page. Excuse me, got the hiccups very quickly. So down here where it started, there's just nothing left. So like the water test, not much left on the chromatography. There we go. Do that. Sit those next to each other. That's a fun look. So yeah, not much left, not any water resistance, and as it dries, it actually looks worse. So up here where there were lines, there's just nothing left. So, yep, no water resistance on this ink. Let's look real quick at the copy paper test. Here it is. It's right underneath Cross Blue Black, which is the one I just did. So there you go. You can see the way this ink looks on copy paper is a little bit different than it looks on Rhodia because it sort of soaks in a little bit. But actually, this is a pretty good result. So if we zoom in, don't really see any feathering, right? You don't really see any spread. You can see sort of very defined lines, even with the architect nib, which I am just not very good at writing with. It is a bit like a paintbrush, as I say there. On the back, oh no, I lost my paper. Hold on, let me go retrieve this thing. Oh, here we go. All right. On the back, yeah, just kind of nothing. So this up here, right here, this is where that paintbrush of a nib was going on. This is the architect nib. And you can see there are a few dots, but man, not much. Especially not from a broad architect, which is putting down quite a bit of ink. And then up here where the medium was written, you just basically see nothing. So compare that with the cross. This is, what nib did I use on that one? Oh, that's my Franklin Christoph broad stub. So a bit of a wet nib as well, but you see much more show through and bleed through there than you do with the Blackstone. So while it's not water resistant and the cross is a bit, it doesn't bleed, feather, or spread, so that's cool. And also, it's a really good color, so I encourage you to check this one out. It's not one I knew anything about going into the day, well, going into the project, but now I really kind of like this one quite a bit. So at least check out maybe a sample, that sort of thing. They're not very expensive samples. It's 3 mils. I think it's probably $1.25 is usually what those go for. So check that out at Anderson Pens, or if you're in Australia, I don't remember the name of the shop. I'll put it in the at the bottom of the video. So anyway, this has been Blackstone's Barrier Reef Blue. I am Mike. This is Ink Dependence, and if you would like to help support Mike and Ink Dependence, here's what you should do. You should go to patreon.com/inkdependence, and that is a site which will allow you to set up a recurring monthly donation to give me your monies. It can be $1, it can be as $500, and either way, I will very much appreciate any help you give me. It helps me pay for supplies and stuff. Even though I've been getting a lot of ink samples, still have web hosting fees and buying new stuff and all that sort of jazz going on. So do make sure to, if you're interested in supporting the blog, please go to patreon.com/inkdependence, and I will see y'all later. Peace out.